An associate professor at the University of Victoria is in hot water over comments she made during a speech at a university in Minnesota. Angela Wilson, also known as Waziyatawin, specializes in Indigenous governance, and she is the Canada Research Chair in Indigenous People at UVic. That speech, which was given back in November, focused on North American lands, the impact of settler society, and how Indigenous nations can recover their traditional values. As A News reporter Louise Hartland shows us, Waziyatawin says some of her comments were taken out of context, but they led the FBI straight to her doorstep.
Peaceful First Nation protests such as this are a common sight in Canada and the United States. A University of Victoria associate professor is garnering a lot of negative attention after she says a recent speech she made was taken out of context. This is an audio recording of her lecture.
Nothing happens in the society nonviolently. Nothing. Okay? It's the only thing that Western civilization understands. It's the only thing that it responds to.
Newspapers went wild with that statement, saying the scholar was calling for violence. Today, she says that would be a last resort.
You know, this is not a call for violence, but it does not necessarily preclude the use of violence for our self-defense either, in defense of our people or our lands. And one of the things that we know as Indigenous populations, that whenever we gather to challenge anything on the part of the state or on the part of corporations, that our actions are criminalized and people with guns show up.
Waziyatawin says Indigenous people are protesting to protect what was once theirs and what she says is now being destroyed.
That every day this society is allowed to continue, the more destruction that happens, the more species go extinct, the more ecosystems are threatened, the more topsoil is blown away, the more toxins are emitted into the air and waters.
The lecture made it all the way to the FBI after a student who attended the talk reported her as a terrorist. Waziyatawin says she referred them to her lawyer. She says society could learn a lot from the lessons of Indigenous people and their history. The trick, she says, is getting them to listen. In Victoria, Louise Hartland, A News.
A News contacted the University of Victoria about the associate professor's comments. UVic responded with the following statement. The University of Victoria recognizes the right of its faculty to exercise their right to express their thoughts and opinions without fear of reprisal from the institution, even if the opinions they express may be controversial. Waziyatawin says she will be back on the UVic campus teaching in Victoria at the end of the month.